Judith Polgar did something that I have never seen before. She played a king move in a middle game that collapsed her opponent's position. I am taking you back to 1996 Brazil, in which Judith Polgar plays Gilberto Milos. For this game analysis, we will skip through the opening, even though this game is very instructive. You will learn about king safety, about positional breakthroughs, about key squares, about pawn storms, and of course, about attack. This is the chess nerd after all. Let me teleport you to this position here. White has just played the move rook ae1, and it's Judith Polgar's turn to play this game. Here, White has a really nice Sicilian position. I mean, look at all the pieces. They're probably all on their perfect squares. I love this bishop pair. I love this pair of knights. I love these rooks that are superbly angled here. I love the queen that's very centralized. White is perfect. Let's look at black. Very nice development, although I will say black has low space in this position, but other than that, like, the pieces are on the perfect squares and black is doing super well as well. So it begs the question, why is this last move, rook ae1, an inaccurate move? Judith Polgar punishes this by playing, pause the video to solve, it's a positional move. She plays g5 here. Hard to understand at the first blink of an eye, but g5 is a pawn sacrifice used to gain the key square knight e5, or just the e5 square in general. If white takes this pawn, you could go knight e5 directly attacking the queen, but there's even stronger h takes g5. And now if the bishop takes and white wins their pawn, they're going back home, they get their money, rook g8, attacking this bishop. And this kind of freezes this position. This bishop can't go back because we take with check. So it forces kind of an h4 move, and now we go knight e5, attacking the queen. Knight f takes g4 because we defend against this crushing blow on f7. And here black is like winning the game. Black has won the game essentially, which is insane. If bishop takes, we have knight takes f2 check first, and then we can pick up the bishop for free. So it's a really, really nice positional sacrifice, and her grandmaster opponent sees through this, of course, and plays f5, which looks super crushing, attacking e6 directly, and suddenly I don't really love the black pieces. Okay, Judith goes with knight e5, kind of the obvious move, attacking this queen and trying to win a pawn, but after white's next move, it doesn't seem that obvious. White goes with the nice queen h3. You might be thinking to yourself, why is the queen getting out from a centralized position and not going to e2? Well, the queen is really nicely strategically placed on this h-file. You see it's pinning this pawn, and now white has formed a double attack, both on e6 from the previous move, and now on g5 as well. And now Judith Polgar, she plays a king move that collapses the white's position. It not only meets these two threats, but it also makes a threat of her own. It's amazing. She plays the move king d7. King d7 gets out of these x-rays. First of all, you have to say the really deep stuff. It gets out of the x-rays of the both rooks. It defends this pawn, so after f takes, you take back with the f pawn as if nothing has happened, and now the queen defends this rook. It reminds me of an OTB game that I played recently where I played something like this, but I lost that one. But okay, queen defends the rook, which means that you cannot take on g5 anymore because I just take back with a piece up. So she meets both threats, and the threat that she makes is that now black is attacking g4 twice. And Gilberto Milos has to defend the pawn on g4. He goes with bishop e2. The king move has caused the bishop to go backward. Crazy. And now, since we have gotten our king out of the way, it's time for Judith Polgar to literally attack the enemy king. This is how she does it. She goes with h5 first. This is a key way to make a pawn storm great. You sacrifice a pawn in exchange for the square g4 to get your pawns up the board, to chase the queen around and ultimately win back this pawn on an h file that's open. So h5 threatens h takes g4 with the double attack, so white takes first on e6 with check, f takes, and now g takes h5. And now Judith doesn't spend time defending or counterattacking or pressurizing this h5 pawn. Instead, she goes with g4. The queen can't really stay on this pawn because just rook takes, right? So this bishop is not defending this. And if bishop takes, it's over. So really a good way to see how that pawn sacrifice is used to gain more space and then later be recuperated by this rook. The queen has to move, queen g2 is played, and now Judith just pursues her attack with such a beautiful sacrifice. She plays a very thematic sacrifice for this opening the Sicilian defense. And she goes with rook takes c3, taking out the defender of this e4 pawn, which is usually why you sacrifice on c3. And the second component is that she doubles these pawns. Sometimes you're doubling pawns around a king on b1, so it's even better. And now this pawn on e4 is incredibly loose. She takes it with tempo on this queen. Judith is now down a full exchange. Remember, she sacrificed a pawn here. So the queen moves once again, and now it's already completely over. But the way Judith Polgar demonstrates, pursues this attack is just of utmost brilliance with the limited pieces she has on the board and the and the wandering king she has on d7. Here, the black pieces move for knight takes h5. Here we're threatening g3 things to open up this file very, very nicely. We're also discovering this bishop onto the h4 square to make a skewer. Of course, Gilberto sees this and plays bishop f4, the mistake, to meet bishop h4 with bishop g3. And now, although it is the best move to just trade this and play bishop d5, the calming bishop d5 is so strong for black. It's like bishop g5 is coming in, it's over almost. But no, Judith goes with g3 here, a very powerful way to open up the king here and make this weakness felt. Here you can take with many pieces, but not all of them are good. Obviously, queen takes, you give the queen, but let's look at what wasn't played in the game, which is bishop takes. Now you can take back with the knight, and if the queen takes, we just pin this queen and king and it's completely over, forced resignation, and if you take with the pawn, it's checkmate in one move on h1. So here, her opponent takes back with the pawn, and now we just take on f4, releasing this rook onto h1, threatening checkmate. Of course, this forces the queen to take so that the king can have some breathing air on rook h1. King f2 was played in the game, rook h2, which I really, really love. The king can go back here, but it just gives a very nice windmill for the black pieces, in which we can just do it. Oh, we also have mates. Mate is a possibility in chess, yeah. Yeah, queen here and bishop takes, it's over. I'm saying yeah a lot, but it's a yeah position. The king goes up to e3 in the game, and now we just have bishop g5. It's still not over. White fights with king takes bishop, bishop takes queen, and now pawn takes bishop. And here we have a queen for a rook and a bishop. So it's winning, but you just have to prove the win. Judith continues on with just another one of these moves. Rook h3, another brilliant move, which is why she had 97.7 accuracy in this game, because it's essentially a perfect opening, extremely strong middle game, boasting many great moves, and two brilliant moves to top it off. This rook cuts the behind of this king, the exit squares of this king in the middle. And now if you were to take my knight, I have d5 check. Woo! Beautiful. Forces the king to f4, and this is checkmate in two moves. Delicious. What can you say? Oh no, this is not mate. This is the mate. I'm sorry. So after her opponent plays knight takes e6, Judith circles it, makes a full circle from the original crazy and now classic move that she made at the beginning of this game. circling it back with king takes e6, forcing resignation upon this threat of checkmate in 2, and the white piece is resigned. I think this is a great game to teach you about king placement and the safety of the king, how to attack with a strong pawn storm, and how to open files for your pieces to unleash themselves. Of course, sacrificing the exchange was also very, very nicely played in this game. It was of world-class level. I hope you enjoyed this game, and see you for the next video.